Welcome to another edition of Talakayan sa PIA, brought to you by Philippine Information Agency through the support of Parasite Cable TV. For this episode, we have partnered with one of the premier hotels in Cagayan de Oro City, the Limkit Kailax Hotel, to discuss various activities for the celebration of Nutrition Month in July. So we are also going to tackle issues of nutrition in Region 10 and how the government is trying to address them. So joining us today is, as co-host, is none other than the General Manager of Limkit Kailax Hotel, Mr. Jerome de la Fuente.
Hello, Jam. Good day to all of the televiewers, the media, and the bloggers present here. On the health concern we have seen in our society today, the prevalence of malnutrition in infants, children, and mothers. We have gathered here in Talakayan to talk about this because this does not only directly affect families but the future of our country, as it needs healthy people in the workforce.
That's right, Jerome. So one of the campaigns of the government is to create greater awareness among Filipinos on the importance of nutrition. So this year, the theme is First 1,000 Days ni Baby, pahalagahan para sa malusog na kinabukasan.
To give us an overview on the rationale of the month-long nutrition celebration, we have with us the Regional Nutrition Program Coordinator of the National Nutrition Council, Ms. Marisa Navales.
To also supply us further inputs, we have from the Department of Health, our nutrition dietitian, Ma'am Telesfora Madelo. We also have a former Lourdes College professor and nutrition dietitian, Ms. Remedios Montaño. And we also have a nurse and founder of the Modern Nanays of Mindanao. We have Nadine Angelica Casino. Good morning. And we also have our pediatrician from the Northern Mindanao Medical Center, Dr. John Paul Oliveros.
Okay, let's just start with this concept behind the 1,000 days ni baby. What do you mean by 1,000 days? How important are these days to get good nutrition?
Isang masustansyang umaga sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin ngayong araw na ito, and to all the media personnel who came in to support us in this campaign for the first 1,000 days in celebration of the 2016 Nutrition Month. But before we go on the details of the discussion, allow me to present a few information about the nutrition situation of Northern Mindanao and how does it link to the 2016 Nutrition Month celebration. Please allow me. Okay. Umpisahan po natin, ano ba itong malnutrition na natin tinatawag palagi, no? Malnutrition is a condition of the body resulting from one, deficiency, excess, or imbalance in one of or more nutrients in the body. We have several functional indicators of malnutrition. Pag sinabi nating deficiency, it's ang ibig sabihin po niyan is undernutrition or it's kakulangan. The second is excess. Ito po yung theme ng ating celebration last year. It's overnutrition. And yung pong sinasabi nating imbalance is a nutrient deficiency either of macronutrients, which are carbohydrates and proteins, and yung isa pong very minute needs of the body is micronutrient deficiency na vitamin A, iron, and iodine. We need small amounts. That's why ang tawag sa kanya is micronutrients. Pag sinabi naman po nating undernutrition, we have three. Underweight, yung kulang sa timbang, based on age. Stunting, or in Bisaya, it's putot. In Filipino, it's bansot. That's height for age. Kulang sa height based sa age. And the third is wasting. This is an index of weight for height. Kulang ang may muscles po na nawawala sa katawan. Next slide, please. So, allow me to present in brief, no, yung nutritional data in Northern Mindanao, which has relevance to the celebration of Nutrition Month. Pag tiningnan po natin sa screen, marami pong nutritionally at-risk pregnant women sa atin, sa Northern Mindanao. Nag-decrease naman siya from 2011 to 2015. Parang sinasabi po ng datos natin, we have out of 100 pregnant women, 25 po doon ay nutritionally at risk. Ibig sabihin, may danger po na sila ay anytime maging malnourished. Okay. Ito pong data na pinapresent ko is coming from a National Nutrition Survey, the latest that was conducted by the Food and Nutrition Research Institute of DOST. Tingnan po natin ang chronic energy deficiency among lactating women. Tingnan po natin ito as against life cycle. No? So, malaki po ang dinecrease ng chronic energy deficiency ng ating lactating women. However, nag-increase po ang ating overweight among lactating women and even in pregnant women.
Why is this so? It's very interesting. Why sudden change? Or metabolism or something?
Yung kadalasan po, it's in the food that we eat. Kasi ang minsan hindi nakokontrol. Kasi di ba, ang laging justification mga pregnant, lactating, kailangan namin ng mas marami. But take note, meron po tayong prescribed na nutritional guidelines. Ito po yung tinatawag natin ngayon na Pinggang Pinoy. May prescribed pong proportions that pregnant and lactating women would take during pregnancy and lactation. Gusto rin po nating diinan, no? Bigyan ng pansin ang importance of proper nutrition and early childhood care and development during the first 1,000 days. Kasi hindi lang naman po yan nutrition, health. Kailangan din po may mga psychosocial stimulation tayo during the first 1,000 days of the child and even during pregnancy and lactation. And of course, gusto natin magtulong-tulong lahat ng members of the community all over the Philippines to be able to help promote the first 1,000 days. And we define the first 1,000 days as this. Yan. Welcome to the first 1,000 days. It's 270 days during pregnancy, which is 9 months, okay? Plus the first year of the child, plus the second year of the child. So 365 plus 365 plus 270 days is the first 1,000 days. So it's the period from the start of conception up to the 2 years of life of a child. Pwede rin po natin siyang tingnan ng ganito. 270 days during pregnancy, 180 days from 0 or from birth to 6 months, kasi tingnan po natin siya in terms of critical interventions, plus 550 days, which ito po yung 6 to 24 months of a child. Mas maganda rin siyang tingnan ng ganitong perspective para makakarelate na agad tayo doon sa critical interventions that should be given during the first 1,000 days of life. Next. And ito pong first 1,000 days, ito yung period na maraming nangyayaring growth faltering, no? So, nung ako'y nasa isang ahensya, yung 1 to 2 years old, ito yung sinasabi na nanineglect natin yung mga bata. Kasi dito yung malikot, andyan yung ano-ano yung kinakain, ano-ano yung sinusubo, no? Nahuhulog sa hagdanan. So that's why DOH is a strong advocacy on the prevention of child injury, particularly on the 1 to 2 years old age bracket. And again, we mentioned that this is a golden window of opportunity na kailangan lahat ng critical interventions ipasok na natin sa first 1,000 days. Again, I repeat, stunting is irreversible. Hindi na po natin nahahabol ang stunting. Very hard na po siyang habulin after 2 years old. And kung ang bata po ay stunted at 2 years old, predictive na po yan ng stunting in older age. So next slide. And our key messages, na-mention ko na po, good nutrition during the first 1,000 days, particularly on good nutrition for the mothers, for the lactating women. Prevent undernutrition, particularly stunting. Global goal na po natin ngayon ng stunting. Promote good maternal nutrition. Next slide. And kaya natin in-invite ang modern nanays because we want to promote exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months, complementary feeding 6 months and beyond, but continuing breastfeeding for the next 2 years and beyond. And for the local government units, stakeholders, non-government organizations, we need to scale up nutrition actions so that we would be able to address nutrition and health-related issues during the first 1,000 days. So thank you very much. I'm done. And maybe we can now proceed with the question and answer.
Well, I'd like to, with your presentation, I'd really like to know, how can we ensure that this program is transcended all the way to the barangay level? It's nice to have a plan, but how are we, or how far have we implemented this, particularly in northern Mindanao?
For the that's why we invited several partners here, because no one or no single agency can address malnutrition and even health problems, education, and all other social issues that we are facing. For the National Nutrition Council, we have several agencies that are with us. No, we have the Department of Health, Department of Education, Department of Agriculture, Department of Labor and Employment. Now we have this network of agencies that help us cascade all of these. Wala po kasi tayong, pag sinabing nutrition program, it's a mix and combination of these several programs. And for the Department of Health, this is cascaded to the local government units through the devolved programs of the DOH. No, alam naman natin na devolved na ang program. And for the Department of Education, it's integration in the curriculum. We also have, all of these agencies have their own coordination mechanisms and have our own monitoring and evaluation mechanisms and strategies. And at the national nutrition level, we see to it that we are able to engage these agencies. They implement nutrition-sensitive and nutrition-focused nutrition programs in order that all of this will be contributing to the nutrition improvement situation, not only of Northern Mindanao, but all of the Philippines. So maybe our guests later on can discuss, no? Can expound on some of their programs. But for the National Nutrition Council, what we have right now as one of our strongest programs, of course, is Operation Timbang Plus. Because data are very critical in terms of what interventions are appropriate, who will be receiving the interventions, how much investments are needed based on the problems identified at the local government units. We let our barangay nutrition committees identify the root causes of malnutrition during their nutrition planning activities and identify specific interventions that they themselves will be able to implement. We do that at the barangay, municipal, city, and provincial levels, linking to our National Plan of Action for Nutrition, which is the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition. We also have the Promote Good Nutrition Program. Ito po yung mga information, education, and communication activities natin. By the way, we have 35 Nutri-Eskwela radio stations nationwide. We have 2 in Northern Mindanao. The NNC provide the equipment, train the radio personnel at the local levels, and the local government units sustain the operationalization and provide the manpower. Again, several programs, no, but maybe we can give the guests the opportunity to discuss their particular programs, particularly DOH and our NGO partners.
Okay, so I guess we will move into the Department of Health, specifically on what programs are being implemented at the barangay level in terms of nutrition.
The Department of Health has a package of health and nutrition services at each stage of life, especially for our children. So we are undertaking both the preventive aspects that anchors down to the barangay level, the implementation of our programs, and these are undertaken by the different health centers, no? From the main health centers of each municipalities down to the barangay health stations of each barangays region-wide. And that includes also the curative aspects that is handled by our hospitals throughout the region. So in terms of programs, we have our immunization. These are the programs that are intended for our children, especially the infants. So once a child is born, they are being taken care of. First, the immunization program. And then, aside from immunization program, we have the newborn screening. And then, we also have this micronutrient supplementation, giving vitamin A supplements to our infants and our under 5 children. And not only that, also our iron supplementation for our identified low birth weight and underweight children region-wide. So we have this package of services for our children na-implement you down the barangay up to present.
How effective is your program now? Because you are still having a lot of underweight, malnourished, or the bansut, my favorite word.
Yes, sir.
The stunted ones.
As far as the DOH is concerned, we are into the augmentation of our logistics, no? Na need sa LGU level. And as what Ma'am Mitch have said, as to trend in terms of malnutrition, it is going down, no? For our region. So, nagkagamay ang atong mga underweight children. But, nag-increase ang atong overweight. So, sa ato nga end sa Department of Health, we've been partnering NGOs and other private organizations to really obtain or met our goals in the rehabilitation of our underweight children. But sa ato nang nahibaw-an, malnutrition is a multi-sectoral problem. So, dili kaya sa Department of Health lang ang maglihok. So, it should be partnered with the DA, kay naka-anchor sa ilahang food security, which is the in their need yun sa matag family sa region.
Okay, let's now hear from the NGOs with their various advocacies and programs in nutrition.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you so much for the data. So we have seen how dire the need is for intervention for mothers and children. So our group is the Modern Nanays of Mindanao. We are a breastfeeding peer support group. Is a private organization, but we try to reach to mothers and give them information. This is preventive interventions that we are employing. So as I've heard, mostly DOH projects are more on the supplementation. But I think there is a lack of health education because there is no, I think with the resources in our barangay, too many patients, a lack of health workers, there won't be time to give health education to these mothers. And the most important time to educate these mothers is during pregnancy. And whether in the private sector or in the public sector, this is a lack. Walay health education. Health education is focused on maternal health, like proper feeding, how to keep the child alive until birth. But then we lack the education on how to take care of this child when the child comes out. So the common problems of mothers when they give birth is the child is crying. They won't remember na dapat exclusive breastfeeding because this child is crying. I'll make sure this child will be pacified. And the only way to pacify her is not through my breast, but through another medium. So there are a lot of misconceptions and myths that mothers have. But sadly, I think this is one program that we have missed, health education, preventive education. And this is one avenue where we, the support groups, enter. So we try to meet up mothers before they give birth and teach them about breastfeeding. What does it mean when a child cries? What does a child need when he cries? So the things that we employ is we try to put ourselves in the shoes of the child. Dili na maguna-una ta pareha sa an adult o a child.
Well, based on the description, I'd like to first address the issue now with the Department of Health. Are we able to track pregnant women in that level in the barangay and go through them religiously, programs that will be helping them attain, the healthy babies?
Yes, sir. So far, what the Department of Health is doing, we trained our health workers of our partner LGUs, the MHOs, the nurses, and the midwives. And after that training of them, they are to cascade those type of training. I mean, transfer of technology on their LGU employees. And these midwives, who are the frontliners of the health services in the barangay, also train our volunteers, the barangay nutrition scholars, the barangay health workers, and it is now the task of every barangay health workers in that barangay to keep tracking all the pregnant mothers and encourage, motivate these pregnant mothers to avail of the prenatal services that is offered by our midwives in each health centers in the respective barangays.
It's nice to hear this, but there's one thing I want to check with you. Are the barangay health workers mothers themselves or single person? Because it makes a big difference from what I'm hearing now. How can a single person relate to a mother when she's not even breastfeeding?
Sir, for everybody's information, almost all of our barangay health workers and even our barangay nutrition scholars are married or mothers themselves.
Well, that's good to hear because not from what I heard.
I think what lacks here is we all have very good projects from the EINC, the Essential Intrapartum and Newborn Care, which is the Unang Yakap in layman's term, and all the other programs of the DOH. The problem here is more on the implementation. We can see that we have, diba, sabi ni Ma'am, bakit hindi 100%? Sana 100% yun? It's because we people have different set of values. We have different sets of perceptions. So there are some, forgive me for some medical practitioners or anyone in the field, there are some that they still have their own practices that they can't let go of. They are not receptive to new interventions. So instead of empowering these mothers to breastfeed, they feed mothers with their own perceptions. Studies tell us that babies are safest when they are with the mothers. High levels of cortisol or stress hormones are found in babies separated from the mother. And this is very bad for their brains. So they are most safe when they are with the mothers. Everybody needs to learn. The people na dugay na in the service and the people na bago ba in the service. So we know dapat naayin anak na factor because we have very good programs. Pwede pa sa government, di ba? Pero kaya ang difference in Duterte. All the projects are good, but it is on the implementation. It is on the personal traits and personal values that makes a difference. So parehas sa katong barangay health workers, yes, they could be mothers, but they have different traits. They have different views.
Well, one of the reasons we are tackling this is because it's an alarming issue already. But I think we have not addressed one issue here. I think the fathers, the husbands play a very important role, which I think have neglected. It just cannot be the mother's responsibility. I think the father of the child is responsible as much as the mother. But I'd like to hear from the doctor himself. What can you say about the programs? How do we address this issue?
I'm so glad that after I just recently came back from training in gastroenterology and hepatology and nutrition. So I've been in Manila for 3 years, and I just recently came back and joined Northern Mindanao Medical Center, and I went back to teach at Xavier. And I'm so glad that after 3 years of training, I've seen that a lot has been done in Cagayan de Oro, in our health sector. DOH and the other government agencies are doing a good job, and I hope they continue in doing their job to improve and eliminate malnutrition. So it's one of my advocacies. And I'm also glad that there are a lot of groups already operating and being very active, especially in our breastfeeding advocacy. Because, really breastfeeding is one of the keys that we could, one of the essential keys in eliminating malnutrition in our sector. The hospitals are usually the referral centers for our health services. And for me, the first line, the front line for malnutrition starts with the local health centers, and with the help of people like those who promote advocacies like breastfeeding, and also the media. This is where we want to shape the minds of our citizenry, and it's also where we could correct some fallacies and misconceptions, and encourage the promotion of practices that promote better nutrition.
I remember during the olden days, there were not many supplements, but they were eating natural food. I am not into medicine because right now I'm already drinking a lot of my medicines, but the time I was born, I don't remember, or even my sister was born, there was not such thing as so many medicines here and there. It was basically eating good food, nutritious food. So that's where the balanced diet for the pregnant women. Of course, you don't stuff them. Sometimes you do. If you feel guilty, because she's pregnant, let's give her some more. But now, because of the changes in the medical field, there's a lot of supplements to be done. I really don't advocate those ones, but I respect the medical profession. I mean, the medical companies who give this as a supplement. Now, we'd also like to call Ms. Remedios Montaño. If you, sir, anything you can add on to what was said earlier?
And as a nutritionist dietitian, I am very thankful for this activity, and we would like to really encourage people to increase knowledge on proper nutrition. As mentioned earlier, there are mothers who are not really fully educated in nutrition. So as mentioned by our doctor here, that proper nutrition should really start even before pregnancy. So if the mother is planning to have a pregnancy, she has to really take a good nourishment so that she can also provide, or she can also give this proper nutrition to her children, or to the infant she's having, and to the children. So because the start of the proper nutrition is really during pregnancy. And would like to say that we don't really encourage mothers to memorize the figures of how much you will eat, but we have to just remember our Pinggang Pinoy. We have also our food pyramid for the pregnant and lactating mother. We can use that as our reference for our daily intake. And would like to also emphasize that our foods nowadays are not really very nutritious, especially those who are just eating outside. We are fond of eating outside the fast foods, which are not really very nutritious. That's why I'm also very happy that our current president is really encouraging us to have this kitchen garden, wherein we have already started in one of the barangays here in Cagayan de Oro City. Even if we don't have space in our households, we can utilize the empty plastic containers which are adding to the garbage that we have, and we can use that as our planting space for our urban garden. So we don't need to have huge space in our household to plant nutritious vegetables.
You were talking about the Pinoy plate, but that was very recent. Like, what was it before, during your time? There was no such thing as Pinoy plate. I'm sure you were eating anything.
Yes.
Especially here, there's abundance of fruit and vegetable. So how do you address the issue now to the newly married or those newly pregnant women?
We just have a complete available foods in our plate. Not necessarily a very expensive food, but the food that are available in our backyard. So using our Pinoy, yung Pinggang Pinoy, we have to ensure that in our plate we have to have the grow, the glow, and the go foods. What are these go foods? These are the energy-giving foods like rice, noodles, our root crops which are very available here in Region 10. Then we have the go foods, these are the protein foods, and the glow foods, which are the fruits and vegetables. And again, it's very much available in our locality.
We will have we have an open question and answer with the media and bloggers. I'm sure they will ask a lot of questions for you, for our guest. All right, so we open the floor now to the question and answer portion with our media friends.
Mike Banyas from Cagayan.com. So I'll like to address this question to the National Nutrition Council. Kasi I'd like to verify if indeed it is your agency which coordinates all these efforts. Kasi there's a lot of people involved. In fact, if you ask me, there's too many people, agencies, NGOs, every time they can hire seems to be. But is there somebody setting the direction, monitoring the results, coordinating the efforts? Kasi I'd like to point out, for instance, yung sinabi nyo kanina, ma'am, na we should shoot for 100% breastfeeding. Well, I would like to disagree with that because personally, I would like to share with you when my wife gave birth to our youngest kid. Cesarean section siya, nag-antibiotic siya, hindi siya pwede mag-umo. So it's 100% I think is impossible. Maybe we should get more realistic.
Yeah, the National Nutrition Council, tama po tayo, sir, that we are the lead agency as the highest policy-making body and coordinating body on nutrition and nutrition-related interventions. The National Nutrition Council, as a council, has several member agencies. Ito po yung mga agencies na very critical ang inputs to improving nutrition situation in the Philippines. As the highest policy-making body and coordinating body, meron po tayong structures at the regional, provincial, city, municipal hanggang barangay level. Nire-replicate po yung membership and function of the National Nutrition Council sa regional. Ang tawag po natin sa regional, it's the Regional Nutrition Committee. Hanggang barangay level po, yun ang tawag natin, Barangay Nutrition Committee. Medyo challenging pa po tayo sa municipal and barangay levels pagdating sa organization itong mga nutrition committees na supposed to be nag-orchestrate and nag-monitor ng efforts. But at the regional level, nationwide, functional po ang ating 17 regional nutrition committees and functional po ang provincial and city level committees nationwide. Yung municipal, challenging pa nga pa po tayo, hindi pa po 100% functional ang nutrition committees at municipal and barangay levels. But for Northern Mindanao, as I said, functional po lahat ang provincial, meron po tayong organized. City level, meron din po. Municipalities, siguro po kung if we are to count, more or less, we're around 80% functional. When we say functional, meron po tayong kategorya kasi ng functionality. Meron po tayong fully functional, substantially functional, partially functional, and non-functional. Fortunately, wala po tayong doon po sa may organized na, wala naman po tayong non-functional. Yung pong naka-organize na 80%, we're getting doon sa substantially functional level ng mga nutrition committees. And when we say they are substantially functional, meron po silang ini-implement na nutrition programs, more than 2 nutrition programs, and ito po ay interagency din, no? So the agriculture sector, the education sector is there. Doon po sa monitoring mechanism, the Regional Nutrition Committee, yun po yung nagmo-monitor at the regional level. And how do we do this? We have this program called the Monitoring and Evaluation of Local Level Plan Implementation. Ang nickname po niyan is MELP. We do this annually. We randomly select LGUs to be monitored and evaluated. And ito pong ating monitoring and evaluation mechanism na ito ay nakalink sa isang incentive and award system na ang tawag natin ay Nutrition Awards. Nutrition Awards, it's done nationwide. Doon po sa resulta ng ating monitoring and evaluation at the regional level, nagra-random nga po tayo kasi hindi natin makukover lahat yung 98 local government units natin. When we say 98 local government units, that's 5 provinces, 9 cities, and 84 municipalities. And around 2,022 barangays. Hindi po natin kayang ibisitahin yan sa isang taon. That's why we randomly select. We monitor the provinces, the cities, and we select randomly the barangays and the municipalities that will be evaluated. Fortunately, last year, sir, when we monitored around 72 barangays, 50 municipalities, may cut-off score po tayo doon sa monitoring eh. Isang munisipyo lang po ang na-monitor natin na below the cut-off. Below the 85% cut-off. Pag sinabi natin 85% po ang nakuha nila doon sa result ng monitoring and evaluation natin, they are doing good in terms of the implementing nutrition programs. They're doing good in managing their nutrition programs. So if we say that only 1 out of the 50 municipalities was evaluated below the cut-off, more or less we're 99% seeing good nutrition program management region-wide. But of course, within the monitoring, may mga challenges pa po tayo doon. And ito po yung kino-communicate natin sa local government units that they have to improve on certain aspects of their nutrition programs. Kadalasan po, ang ating recommendations is ensure that the first 1,000 days intervention are available and are given to those who are really needing it. Exclusive breastfeeding, complementary feeding, continuing breastfeeding, additional information po dun sa sinasabi ni Ma'am Nadine na they have, their organization promotes the organization of breastfeeding support groups. Out of the 5 provinces and 9 cities we have, mga 60% of those have already organized breastfeeding support groups. At ito po yung pinapakalat nating efforts that they also do nutrition counseling at community levels. The more than 2,000 barangay nutrition scholars natin are also into nutrition counseling. Monthly, pag na-identify mo nila out of the OPT, yung kanilang malnourished children and the families of these malnourished children, ano po yan? Monthly ang weighing, and they do almost weekly counseling to families or parents with undernourished children. So that's how we do that, no? We have coordinating committees at various levels, and at the community level, we engage the barangay nutrition scholars, the barangay health workers, the midwives, the health, our nutrition action officers. We have 1 nutrition action officer per province, per city, and per municipality. And at the barangay, we have the barangay nutrition scholars as our networks of workers that help us promote good nutrition as a major program of the National Nutrition Council and as a major program of the government.
I just have a question. We are always talking about lactating mothers. What if the mother has no milk? What do we do from here on?
To answer that question, that's usually not true. No, most of the mothers, when they get pregnant, they have the capacity to produce enough milk to feed their babies and to satisfy their babies. And the misconception stems from what, as Mom said a while ago, that during the first few hours of birth, do not really have that much of milk production, because the reason for that is the newborn's tummy just can only, the capacity is around 5 to 10 ml during the first 24 hours, and it increases later on. So that's why the succeeding days, that's where your mother, your lactating mother, will have an increase in the milk production. And it is important that proper attachment, no, and the baby and the mother has good emotional connection for milk to have good flow. I would just like to add, Ma'am, to your comment, Ma'am, because nowadays traditional media also still plays a role in our society, but social media is also having more influence, nowadays. I think it would be better if education for proper nutrition for your pregnant mothers, and also education on the importance of breastfeeding, and also complementary feeding. No? That's when you start giving solid or semi-solid foods at 6 months of age, right? So I think this should be delivered or forwarded to the general public. So I not aware if PIA is doing or planning to have like advertisements or even videos, instructional videos in traditional media and in social media.
To answer that, we also have our FB page where you can see all of these. We have a video we uploaded and also in the Parasat Cable TV. Okay, so
I would like
you
to add
ask.
on, not from the audience, from the reporter. He said, "What if let us make it real? Impossible ang 100%." So, but to give you the figures, only 2% of the population of women cannot breastfeed physiologically. Maura na siya ang population nga dili gyud makaproduce og milk. And there is a very, very small percentage of babies nga bawal og milk, which is galactosemia. There are very, very few contraindications to breastfeeding. That is galactosemia for the babies, for the mothers katong wala jud sila pangbuhat og milk. And if you are taking only these medications, tulo ra ka buok, chemotherapy meds, radioactive iodine, and prohibited drugs. But it is a misconception that when mothers take in any kind of medications, they need to temporarily stop breastfeeding. And this is a message that we need to deliver. And regarding the cesarean section, unang yakap does not stop with normal birth. Even sa cesarean, you can do unang yakap. So, why is it important na murag to higher pa atong figures? Dili lang tong 8, but actually those figures are only for the first 24 hours of birth. Ang initiation of unang yakap, which is how, pila to? 33? Ay, 84%. Tama ba, ma'am? 84% ang katong initiation of 82 hours. 82%. But it is very alarming na ang exclusive breastfeeding rate is only 4. And unsay implication dahil because we feel na okay lang, they don't get sick, right? There are some who get sick. There are some who do not. Mostly because we live in the city. Mostly they won't die. Murag dili kay anak ka ano. Some will still have good health. Kay we don't feel the unsa kabugat ang problema na mixed feeding. For us na naa sa average, mixed feeding would not be a problem at all because we would still thrive, we would still live, we could still have a good chance in life. But for those in the lower pa na wala jay kwarta, mixed feeding becomes a decision of life and death. It is a ticket inside the hospital and not ever come back out. Diba, Doc? Murag, the decision not to exclusively breastfeed is already a ticket na dili sila ma-healthy. Pareha sa giingon, nakatong stunting, undernutrition, or overnutrition. And that is why we need to make sure that we protect and promote breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, mixed feeding. Kung pwede lang dili siya option because mixed feeding gives us, primes us for diabetes, heart disease, cancer. Breastfeeding is cost-effective and free, but kulang sa interventions to promote this this very essential thing in the first 1,000 days.
We have another question, Ms. Cheryl Macale.
I think we've been discussing all the nutrition facts and that we all know that we do need to be adamant to actually implement these projects, to actually enforce this, that is very important to have this 1,000 days. But the thing is, I think the government should be concerned about the employment because if the parents are not employed themselves, how can they actually nourish the child without providing the good nutrition if they don't have any livelihood or employment? And that is the question. So how do you interfere this? As National Nutrition Council, you are one of the basic factor, the fundamentals of this structure where you implement this project. But how can this be implemented if we have a crisis of unemployment?
Ma'am, with regard how I'm going to connect it with breastfeeding and working moms and our RA 10028 or the expanded promotion of breastfeeding. This gives us the laws that breastfeeding mothers will have 40 minutes lactation breaks when they work. So the one problem that you raised is how will they have good nutrition if they don't have a livelihood? And how important breastfeeding is for families with middle or low income is that if you save the money that you buy for formula milk or supplements by breastfeeding, you actually feed your whole family.
Yeah, malnutrition is a social problem. No? It has social aspects, and that's true. If you have no jobs, no, if the parents, no, the mother and the father do not have any job to provide for adequate nutrition for their children, that comes to be a very big problem. And we have, I acknowledge that problem, and I do believe that I think the government is already working on it. But in our setup, in our hospital setup, those with severe acute malnutrition, those with the severe type of malnutrition, most of them are really in the class D or E sectors, and these are the profiles of the parents of these children. They are usually parents with, like, if they ever have jobs, they have like they low-paying jobs. They have low-paying jobs, and they have lots of children. So I think DOH is already addressing the need for responsible parenthood. And for our patients who get admitted, we usually refer them to the social workers, the SWD. And the SWD, once these children, even during admission, the SWD takes care of their needs, some of their needs. And after discharge, the social worker would assess these children if they are fit to be given back to their parents, or if they seem that the parents are not capable of really taking care of the children, they'd be they would be taking in the children for the meantime and try to look for ways that the parents, the biological parents, would have the capacity to raise these children in the first place.
For anything else, yes, I've mentioned this to you yesterday. The issue on this starts from poverty. A lot of these people are malnourished simply because there's no income. So what is the government also doing? Hopefully the private sector can help, because this is where the private sector comes in. We need to have employment. Otherwise, we will continuously talk about malnutrition here until the cow comes home and nothing happens. Because that's the reality here. I know that the DOH, the Natural Nutrition Council, or even the Northern Mindanao Hospital have all the programs. But this is now deviating from. We want to see the root cause. And that basically is opportunity for them to make money. Because if they're making money, they will be healthy. Because they can buy good food, not tira-tira, or they can eat good food. To me, it's food. That is the one thing that has to be. What is food on the table makes you a healthy person. Of course, if you overeat, you're going to be like me with a high blood. So, I'm overweight.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, and thank you for giving an opportunity to explain ano ba tong mga root causes ng malnutrition. No? Basically, mayroon pong 3 causes of malnutrition. Number 1, yung indirect inadequate dietary intake. Dito pumapasok, pag tiningnan natin yung problem 3 ng mga local government units na ginagawa, dito sa inadequate dietary intake pumapasok yung underemployment, unemployment, low income, etc., etc. Lack of livelihood opportunities. Yung isa naman na na-discuss na natin karamihan kanina is yung improper care of the mother and the child. Yan na yung mga kulang sa breastfeeding, etc., etc. Yung pangatlo, ito yung unsatisfactory health condition. Diyan pumapasok yung mga poor environmental sanitation, lack of potable water, lack of sanitary toilets. Yung tanong ni ma'am, nandoon sa inadequate dietary intake. Pag hinimayan ng local government unit and even sa national causality framework natin on malnutrition, laging lumalabas yung unemployment, underemployment. Walang LGU na hindi naglagay nun. And pag binababa pa natin yan, yung mga societal causes na yan is poverty. Of course, we know that poverty is the root cause of all, no? But hindi lang National Nutrition Council and its member agencies ang makaka-address nun. Ini-stop na natin yung problem 3 pagka hindi na within the context at hindi na capable ang local government units to provide interventions to identify causes of malnutrition. Doon sa underemployment and unemployment, alam naman natin na isa sa top problems yan socially. But the government has not been remiss. Sa National Nutrition Council, national and regional level, pinag-uusapan pa rin yang what do we do, no? Paano ba natin i-address to? There are existing programs and good programs at that, but always not enough. Kasi padagdag ng padagdag ang population, padagdag ng padagdag ang bumababa sa poverty line. Kahit yung mga karamihan ng health workers natin and teachers, no? Minsan, karamihan ng nasa government, nasa below the poverty line pag pinag-usapan yung daily wage, no? How much do you earn? And anong appliances ang meron ka sa bahay? Those measures of poverty. For interventions, I can name a few, but kailangan pa rin talagang intensify. Number 1, meron tayong tinatawag na direct employment opportunities. Ito yung binibigay ng DOLE. Meron silang job fair, di ba? So, various employment opportunities are provided doon sa mga ganong job fairs ng DOLE. DOLE and even other agencies provide livelihood opportunities, provide entrepreneurial skills training. The DSWD provides food for work or cash for work opportunities, especially during times of disasters. At the local government units, they also provide those opportunities. Pero ang isa sa ating pinapakiusap sa local government units, whenever merong employment opportunities sa community, for example, may road construction na gagawin, or merong building na itatayo, merong call center na itatayo. Ang aming advocacy sa local government units is, please prioritize families with malnourished children in the hiring, kahit short term lang ito, just to fill in immediate gaps, no, in terms of food availability. Minsan naman, food is available, pero hindi niyo-utilize. Nagiging choosy. Yan nga, yung mga fast foods, nandiyan na, pumapasok na dyan. Isa rin advocacy natin is backyard gardening, community gardening, urban gardening. Lahat ng types ng gardening to make food always available. Wala nang excuse para sabihin na hindi po available ang food.
In addition to that, I think in the form of moving forward with the new administration, I just really hope that we can intensify the program through the campaign, through the media, social, wherein we are very much dedicated and committed to actually just make this program possible to every human being alive in the Philippines.
question ni Sir kanina, who is monitoring and how far have we gone through with ano? Sir, we at the national level, through the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition, nagsiset tayo ng targets for nutrition. For Northern Mindanao, yung pong targets na naset natin for underweight, overweight, and na-meet na po natin at the regional level. We are doing good in terms of underweight and overweight. Ibig sabihin, yung target po natin na no increase in overweight, na-achieve na po natin yan. Actually, we're going down. Pag tiningnan natin ng OPT results, and even the FNRI survey, the trend is going down. For underweight, na-reach na rin po natin yung target natin. I just don't have the figure. But for stunting, yan, hindi po natin na-achieve yung target natin dyan. This is a result of our monitoring. Determining our accomplishments in terms of certain nutrition indicators. Stunting and micronutrient deficiency, hindi pa po natin na-meet yung ating target. And there are more challenges here, and there are more things to do. For iodine deficiency alone, hindi po natin na-meet ang target. Kasi meron po tayong mild iodine deficiency in Northern Mindanao. We have 2 provinces na meron pong mild iodine deficiency disorder, and Bukidnon and Misamis Occidental. So we're working with these provinces to make sure that our targets in micronutrient deficiency will be achieved this year. Kasi meron na po tayong next planning cycle ng Regional Nutrition Action Plan and next planning cycle of the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition. Nationally, nationwide, yung pong national targets natin, meron po tayong mga hindi na achieve in certain indicators like percentage of households with food intake less than the 100% calorie requirements. Hindi pa po natin na-achieve yan because we still have 33% of households that are not able to take the 100% calorie requirements per day. Ang calorie requirement po natin per day is 2,100 kilocalories. So, ibig sabihin, sa 100 families, meron pa pong 33% lang po ang nakakatake ng 100% requirement. Kaya mataas pa rin po ang ating malnutrition. But for others, overweight, na-achieve na po natin ang targets natin nationwide.
You said earlier that there's 2 cities here or provinces that is iodine deficiency. And isn't that correlated to goiter or retardation?
Yes po. Yes po. Yun po yung complications ngayon ng the doctors would probably expound on that. Mahalaga po na i-address natin ng mild ang ating iodine deficiency doon sa dalawang provinces and sustain the efforts in the other areas to make sure na wala pong complications na mangyayari out of deficiency in iodine. Si Doc po, baka gustong i-explain yung iodine deficiency disorder complication.
So, if you have iodine deficiency, you tend to have goiter, hypothyroidism, and some of these patients also have mental retardation. For infants born with congenital hypothyroidism, they have stunting. So traditionally we call them retin dwarfs. They have this appearance that is very distinct for congenital hypothyroidism. And aside from proper nutrition, they might also need medications. So I think the government should improve or monitor and make sure that the iodine content of the salt is adequate. But what I want to add is that it's very good that the government is already emphasizing the need for attention to the first 1,000 days. This will, I think, the government needs to step up on this and help nutrition, help ensure that the pregnant women and children below 2 years old get the proper nutrition. And I think the government also needs the help of the private sectors. And on the long run, if we achieve proper nutrition in this first 1,000 days, it will result to a population in the future, 15 to 20 years from now, with higher IQs, with better physical activities, and a healthier population. So this will mean more competent and a more competitive workforce in the future. So that's why we need to start planting the seeds right now, so we reap the benefits 15 to 20 years from now.
We also have an announcement from Mitch. This will be the highlight of the Nutrition Month celebration this month. Mitch, we have an important activity for everybody to participate.
Yeah, we would just want to announce yung gagawin nating mobile photo contest among ito umpisahan natin muna sa school children para alam natin kung ano ang power ng children in terms of advocacy. Children are the most powerful advocates. Kung galing po ako kasi sa isang ahensya dati na ito po ang aming ginagawa. We train or we encourage children to be advocates for certain child rights issues. So we're starting this mobile phone contest for the Nutrition Month. Ang theme po is first 1,000 days. Ang mechanics po natin is hindi ko na po ma-discuss lengthily, but it's open to grade 6 to grade 12 school children. Available po ang mechanics, entry forms and registration forms sa NNC website and webpage. So starting tomorrow. And we will be coordinating with the Department of Education so that more children will be aware of the contest and we can spread the advocacy. Again, focused on the first 1,000 days. Meron po tayong cash prize, special awards, and we created a committee led by the Philippine Information Agency and members of the Media Advocates regional network of this is actually a project of the Media Network. No? It's the Mango Diez, PIA, Gold Star, the Cagayan de Oro Bloggers Group, and the Cagayan de Oro Photo Society. So ito po yung members ng ating committee na nag-create ng mechanics, and they will also be the ones to judge. Deadline po of submission is on July 20. Judging po is on July 26. And awarding of winners will be on July 29, to be coupled by a forum on the first 1,000 days. So again, we'll be seeing each other doon. We'll be inviting other guests who will be sharing new and latest information on the first 1,000 days.
I would also like to invite our media partners. Our Modern Nanays group will also have an activity which is related to the first 1,000 days. We call it Hakab Na. It is a global activity, the big latch on siya, globally known. We do it annually, and we gather mothers to breastfeed together at the same time. So, hakab na is the Tagalog word for latch on or to breastfeed. So, this will be done simultaneously around the world on August 6, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. at Limketkay Event Center. And last year we reached 120 mother pairs, and now we are hopefully want to invite 300 mothers. And kung naay gusto mag-help with operational expenses, we will be very happy to accept your help. And August 6, sakab na sa Limketkay Event Center.
Remember, they were talking to me about this corporate office, and we would really like to call people to come and join because it's for a worthy cause. Of course, we're also soliciting sponsorship because to defray all our expenses. But other than that, I'd like first to continue on. Can you just explain to me what is the Accelerated Hunger Mitigation Program all about? Because this is one of the issues that programs that needs to be emphasized. And what is the private sector going to do? Is there a support from the private sector? When I say private sector, it does not mean only the media. It means the offices, because these needs to be addressed.
Before I answer that, August, kaya po ginagawa yung August is breastfeeding month. Okay. Yung AHAM po ang tawag dyan, Accelerated Hunger Mitigation Program. Dito po naka-anchor yung ating Promote Good Nutrition Program ng National Nutrition Council. This is a program started in the previous administration, and ang isang major component nga po dun is we do this hunger mitigation program to make sure that one of the goals is ma-address ang malnutrition. It's a component of several programs. Pero ang dalawang major program po dun is generating employment and ensuring that food security, ensuring generating employment and food security. This has been going on for several years. And for the National Nutrition Council, part ng ating Promote Good Nutrition Program na naka-anchor po dun is i-train lahat. When we say lahat, ng barangay nutrition scholars, barangay health workers, and midwives in promote good nutrition, infant and young child feeding, and pabasa sa nutrition. So, but the other agencies have done their part, particularly the Department of Labor, Department of Tourism. Kaya po tumaas yung ating tourism rate. It's because naka-anchor din po siya dun sa Accelerated Hunger Mitigation Program. Nagko-continue pa rin naman po siya. But, siyempre, minsan po napapalitan kasi ng pangalan pagka may bagong leadership na dumating. But the program is still ongoing. Ang Accelerated Hunger Mitigation Program.
Does the Nutrition Council have recipes for the parents?
Meron na po kaming na-print na recipe books. Dalawang version na po yun. At lahat po ng nationwide, lahat ng provinces, cities, municipalities, ay nabigyan na po natin ng enough copies for them to use it as an advocacy material and as a material for direct nutrition intervention. It's called, ano na nga title noon natin? Pat? Nung recipe book? I forgot. Mga lutuing pambahay using readily available vegetables in the backyard. Isa po sa pinaka-favorite na recipe doon yung MMK, ang tawag. It's munggo, malunggay, and kalabasa.
Wow, parang Duterte.
Yeah, meron kung
favorite.
If you want, naka-upload na po yata yan sa aming Facebook page ng NNC Region 10. So, just visit our Facebook page.
Kasi, parang hindi naman bawal na tayong malnutrition eh. Ma'am, anong pilot nyo po sa Cagayan de Oro Region 10? Kung advokasyan nyo po yung sinasabi nyo for agapan lahat ng problema ng kabataan regarding sa problema ng malnutrition. Anong pilot nyo po sa Region 10?
tindihin din natin, no, health and nutrition services are devolved. So what, again, I will repeat, the National Nutrition Council provides the policies, the standards, but we also monitor. Yung monitoring namin, we do it randomly, as I mentioned. For Cagayan de Oro City, last year nag-visit po tayo ng 5 barangays. And this year, we are also again, we will visit 5 barangays. Next week na po yun. Isang call din namin po sa media people, baka gusto nyong mag-join dun sa monitoring na ginagawa namin, kahit 1 day lang, para makita nyo paano ba tumatakbo yung nutrition program. And this is a project that we do with Mango Diez, no? Taon-taon po kasi nagbabago yung barangay para lahat po mabivisit namin after ilang years, no? Last year, we visited 5, including Barangay Tablon, Barangay 11. I cannot recall all. But in other areas, we also do that. But your question is focused on Cagayan de Oro City. Next week, hindi pa po namin ma-identify sinong barangay yung ma-visit kasi we pick them, pinipick randomly po yan ni Mayor Moreno. So, what we do is, at the first day of the visit, i-gather namin yung City Nutrition Committee, konting feedback, konting background, tapos, idodraw lahat po yung 5 barangays. Paano po pinipili yung 5 barangays? Titingnan po namin yung OPT result. Sino yung pinakamataas na prevalence of undernutrition? Sino yung nasa middle? At sino yung lowest prevalence? Magpipick po doon 2 sa, depende no kung ano po pag-agrihan. Minsan 2 sa highest prevalence, 1 sa medium, 1 sa lowest prevalence. That's how we identify. Kaya hindi po natin masasabi kung meron po tayong pilot barangay. But meron po kasing mga local government units na meron na silang tinatawag na showcase barangay. Ibig sabihin, ito po yung barangay na pinakamaganda ang performance in terms of nutrition programs. Last year po, Pat, ano ba yung ating I think it was Barangay Tablon ang naging showcase barangay ng Cagayan de Oro City. Nung previous po, it's Barangay 11 yata. Kasi medyo maliit lang yung population ng Barangay 11, very manageable kung may problema ng malnutrition. And this time po, next week, saka pa lang po uli kami makaka-identify ng best barangays. But region-wide, nag-a-award po tayo ng Best Barangay Performers during our Regional Nutrition Awarding Ceremony. Based doon sa MELP evaluation na ginagawa natin, kinukuha namin yung barangays na naka-score ng 100 to 110% using the tool that we use. So, hindi ko lang po hawak kung 32 barangays po yung in-award natin na best performers last year. We're also going to give the award this year. But for municipalities, ang best municipality po natin in terms of nutrition performance is Manolo Fortich, Bukidnon. For city, Hingoog City po ang ating best performer. And for province, we have Camiguin last year. Camiguin ang ating outstanding province in nutrition. Every year, nag-a-award po tayo niyan. So, we will never know kung ano po yung magiging resulta ng ating monitoring and evaluation until matapos po namin yung last province to be monitored, which is Bukidnon. Sir, did I answer your question? But bukod po sa Hingoog City, we are also looking at Valencia City kasi 3 years na po siyang outstanding in nutrition for the regional level. Naka-maintain na po siya ng 2 years outstanding nutrition award niya at the national level. So, running for a Nutrition Honor Award po ang Valencia City this year. Natapos na po ang national evaluation and we hope na makapasok tayo so that we again add another feather sa Northern Mindanao because second po ang Northern Mindanao in all regions of the country in producing best performers in nutrition. We have 7 Nutrition Honor awardees. Ang Nutrition Honor Award po, makukuha yan in 6 years. Dapat increased performance po in nutrition. We have 7 local government units that have been awarded na the Nutrition Honor Award. And if Valencia City will make it this year, pangwalog na po ang Valencia City na magiging Nutrition Honor Award din natin. So in all ano tawag dito? Humbleness and honesty, Northern Mindanao is considered to be a performer in terms of nutrition program management because we have produced 7 Nutrition Honor awardees. The latest is Osami City and the others are fully concentrated in Bukidnon. So, ang goal po natin is to cascade this to other provinces and regions, in the cities and municipalities.
All right, so we have discussed quite thoroughly for Nutrition Month.
And that's right, Jam. Another fruitful day, Talakayan. And I'd like to see you more often, the media partners and the bloggers. I hope to see you more in the next one. This will be a follow-up. I think we're having the Department of Education. This has to be confirmed, but definitely we're giving a follow-up on this topic on the 1,000 days.
All right, so we have come to the last part of our Talakayan. We'd like to thank our guests from the National Nutrition Council and Department of Health, from the NMMC, and of course from our partner NGO, the Breastfeeding Nanays of Mindanao. And our big thanks to Mr. Jerome De La Fuente for being a special co-host in this episode. Thank you as well to our media and blogger friends who came here today and to our avid televiewers at their homes. And of course, we'd like to extend our big thanks to Parasite Cable TV. In behalf of our Regional Director, Thelma B. Oliver, this is Jab Rukat. Thank you for your consistent support in this Talakayan. Until the next episode, thank you and good day.